Now here's how I handle objections using a very simple framework, and I call it AIA, which stands for acknowledge, isolate, answer. So example, buyer says, hey, this probably isn't a priority right now. What you're gonna do, instead of answering, is you're gonna acknowledge it because you wanna make sure they feel heard. Look, totally fair. I know you get a lot on the plate, and the last thing you probably need is another distraction that isn't worth it. And then what we're gonna do after we acknowledge is we're gonna isolate whether or not this is the only objection or if this is the real objection. So you'll say something like, look, aside from timing, is there anything else that would hold us back from being worth exploring? Then we get into answering. So let's say in this instance, they say, look, timing is the only thing. You say, look, makes a lot of sense. Given that, why don't we do this? It might make sense to map out what worth it would really look like for you. And then we can decide together whether or not we should pause or keep going before we get too deep. So would that be helpful? Now by doing this, you're gonna stay calm. You're not gonna take it personally. And for God's sakes, you're not gonna argue with them.